So what we were seeing there was the start of the Vogel's installation video, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to have a look at that video. What we are checking out today is the TVM5855. So this bracket is within the Elite range, and it's actually the largest full motion Vogels within the consumer range. And unlike all the other full motion wall plates within the Vogel's range, this one has a wider wall plate. So what that means is that we won't be able to mount it to a wood stud without a little bit of extra help. So what we need is two verticals for each one of those screws. And the way of achieving that is by using the TVA6950, so the Vogel's double stud adapter, which we can see here. It also requires the second part, which is called a 999950 adapter kit. And opening up the packaging, we can see the instructions. We'll go into those in some detail. The accessories, the vertical rail here, and up above you've got the horizontal rail. Flipping it over, you can get a better view of that. And within the single accessory pack, you've got the parts for the wall, and then you've also got parts for the mounting of the bracket. Normally Vogel's products are quite light because they use high quality steel. In this case, it's not, 4.2 kilos. And here's the reason why. It's probably 3 mil steel. The two most common stud separations would be 450 mil and 600 mil. So we'll check that out. We can see 450 is fine, and the 600 is also fine. I think the easiest way is just to mark it out and fix that bottom rail. And so that's what we're going to do first. So reading the instructions about those vertical rails, let's check out the Comfort series first. And we've got small, medium, large. So small full motion, just one part and 3 bolts and washers. For the medium, we flip it over and then we add that second part. Now what it requires every time you've got a second part is the set screw. So let's have a look at that set screw here. And basically what you've got to do is you've got to place it in the correct position and then use an Allen key to tighten it. And then that'll keep those two parts at the right length. We add the 3 bolts. After that, we go from the medium size one to the large full motions. So anything TVM56. And we just changed the position of 1 hex bolt and 1 set screw. So next we've got the single stud Elites, and you'll notice how long the vertical bar needs to be, so it's not to scale, and the configuration of the set screw and bolts. And then we're on to the TVM5855. So you'll notice 2 vertical rails. So remember that 999950, we changed the length and the bolts and set screw. After that, we're on to the Signature series. So we've got to flip it over once more, and we're again going to be changing the length and the positions of the set screw and bolts. We're actually adding a 4th bolt when we're using the Signature. Anyhow, today we're doing the TVM5855. So first thing we want to do is work out what the length is. So we do that. And then we've just got to add the set screw and bolts as per the instructions. So back to the actual bracket. So we're mounting the TVM5855 on the double stud adapter. You can see the model number here and the warranty up here. And today we're going to check out, does it support 100-inch, 75 kilos and the 120 degrees? So opening the packaging, we've got the Drill Right app here, so that augmented reality thing. We've got the instructions, so just a quick install guide. And we've also got the drilling template on the other side. Also hidden away, you've got the screws for mounting the TV, and you've also got the Allen key over here. I recommend against using this spirit level, but you have one there also included. You also have those patches to protect your TV against the metal of the bracket, and you've also got cable fingers, so good for cable management. By my measurements, the arms extend out 690 mil, so being a double arm bracket, they rotate 60 degrees or 120 degrees all up. And by that, I think up to a 75 inch, you might be able to get the full 60 degrees of rotation. Measuring the base, we've got 277 high by 177 wide. And then also having a look at the weight, you've got 7.4 kilos. And when you add the arms, 9 kilos. So having two arms, it's 2.6 kilos heavier than the TVM5855. Now we check out the cable management and also the back plates. Obviously Vogel's always look fantastic. So we've pretty much finished having a look at the bracket. I think it's time to mount it. So remember, we have to use that double stud adapter because we're mounting it onto wood studs. We'll be putting the bracket's wall plate on those two verticals. Checking the accessories, I think they always have the right accessories, but it's the usual accessories for Vogels. And as per usual, the maximum VESA is 400 high by 600 wide. Just pay attention to the down indication. So you've got those two holes and they fit into those notches that you see there. I don't know why it's the case, but you always have to loosen those Allen keys with any Vogels. And then once it's loosened, that'll allow you to slide through those horizontal bars, as you can see here. So we're just about ready to mount the TV testing board. All that we have to do is add those two screws in the center of the bottom bar and the top bar, and then we hang the TV board onto the bracket. And to see what height that bracket testing board would be, I just measure the bottom of the wall plate to the bottom of the TV, and we do the same on the actual wall, so we can see that it's going to be close to the floor, but it won't hit the floor. So the wall plate mounts to the stud adapter using 6 bolts, so 3 on each vertical arm. And then we just have to tighten the screw at the top just to make sure that the TV testing board is securely fastened to the bracket. And the bottom screw you use to also make sure that it's level. So I preferred the Allen key on the TVM5855, but yeah, this one's still functional. So finally the testing, and we start off with just the testing board, which is 15 kilos, and it moves around like you would expect any Vogels, so very light. 25 kilos, so that's the equivalent of a 65-inch, and again, in and out, very good. 35 kilos, 75-inch, and we're still seeing it go in and out very nicely. And then we move on to the all-important 45 kilos, which is an 85-inch. For me, it's the smoothest performing consumer bracket at 45 kilos or 85-inch. We also tested the maximum weight, which is 75 kilos or 100-inch. And you can see two things. It does require more effort to push it in and out. Still not too bad. But what I was noticing is it's tilting forward. So I checked, 15 kilos, no problem, no tilt. But at 45 kilos, we've got a 3-degree tilt. And obviously, as the weight goes up, that gets worse, which surprised me because with the 5845, we didn't have that issue. Like all Vogels, using an Allen key, you can adjust for that tilting forward. And even at 4 degrees, we were able to bring it back down to 0. So I'd love the feedback of Vogels. So the last thing, aesthetics, they always look really good. So you've got the covers for those vertical rails. And then we put on that back cover for the wall plate. They also have the cable fingers, which I haven't added, but they would go in behind the horizontal rail, and you've got 2 of those. The other thing to note, the washers were too big that I used. Obviously, you'd go for a smaller washer, and then that wall plate will stick on a lot nicer. So in terms of looks, performance, this is probably my favorite bracket out of all the brackets for full motion.